Hello, YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Do you hear echo? Do you hear echo? Can you hear me clearly? What's up, God's hit man? Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. It's my first time doing the streams, and it was a little challenge finding some of the studio software. But anyway, thanks for joining, and hopefully there'll be some more guests coming in as well. Let me see, invite. And let me put the invite to the stream for anyone that wants to join. All right, so let me get into this. All right, so topic of today's show is, should passport bros groom the upcoming generations, or should we, encourage them to fix the community? And let me share my screen. The way this came about was I was watching one of BGS's videos, and he did a video on a woman that had she had 7 children and she was pregnant, and she was still looking for a husband, and she wanted to be celibate. So the way BGS responded, he pretty much felt at that point that the community is pretty much over. So I kind of wanted to, so that got me thinking a lot about, a lot of us guys are either SYSBM, or we're like a passport bro. So, but I was thinking about, what about the future generations? What about our children? What about our nieces and nephews who aren't of age yet? Should we already start kind of grooming them, give them information about traveling, that kind of thing? Or should we kind of still encourage them to kind of toughen it out, try your best with the women who are available, maybe match some of their energy, that kind of thing. So, oh, got him in there. Are you there? Hello? Got him in. I think you're on mute. I heard you for a second.
Are you getting the echo from me?
No. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay. So I guess on your computer, like when you hit the link, did it take you to like the studio, or did it where did it take you? I guess.
So you hear me now?
Yeah, I get you perfectly.
Okay.
You're probably gonna have to talk to me through like the little studio link, and then probably close out the browser to YouTube, because I think otherwise you're gonna keep getting the echo.
Yeah, I took it out. It put me into 2 different records.
They gotcha. But yeah, man, thanks for joining the stream. I kind of did it last minute. I actually had planned this 2 days ago, but YouTube, for some reason, when I tried to do the stream, it was some kind of issue where I guess I had to give them a certain amount of time to set it up or something. It was very weird. Um,
It just popped up on my computer. I said, and I saw you, and I'm like, wow. I was looking for some, some traffic on Passport Brothers. So you popped up, so I cut my computer. I'm like, hey.
Now, got you. Yeah, so it's probably not going to be a whole lot of people because I kind of did it like last minute. I did it like 6. The reason for it is I'm actually going to take a trip. I have my girlfriend is in Colombia, so I'm actually going to visit her over this next week. So I wasn't going to have a lot of time to do the stream. I really wanted to do it because I know I've been putting it out for a while, and I let people know in the post. So I said, let me just at least just go ahead and just whoever shows up, I will just, I'll chat with them, chop it up with them, and then if anybody else wants to join, we kind of go from there. So I know it's also like past 9. I know a lot of people got to kind of get up for work. So, but yeah, as far as like the topic, yeah, it was more so like, just the way that the dating scene is, it's just, to me, it's just getting worse and worse. And it's just a matter of, I have like nephews, and the good thing is my sister, she's a really, really good parent. So she's raising them up to be, to be intelligent, to go to school, to do that kind of thing. But I just think that about when they start getting into high school, when they start getting around that college age, they're going to start to notice that a lot of the one we have here are just very, very hard to deal with. So it just makes me think like, should we be kind of already grooming them when they're young to kind of come over to our side, or should we just kind of give them more like red pill advice, tell them just, to be assertive, you know, don't buy things for women, that kind of thing. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that they go along hand in hand. Like what I tell my nephews, I tell
Yeah.
them concentrate on themselves, but also make sure that they got their situation right. They know they got their things together before they get out here with these girls pregnant. Because I got nephews 17, a bunch of teenagers, 17, 18, 19, and 20.
Your audio is kind of dropping. It's like it went out a little bit.
You hear me better now?
Yeah, it's a lot better. It's a lot better.
Yeah, so I tell my nephews, make sure they got their head on straight before they get out here. Start making them decisions as far as choosing a mate here.
Yeah.
Because I want them to be able to travel.
Yeah.
Have that chance to be able to travel and see more of the world. Don't make the mistake that their uncle made.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Just like you said. So it sounds like you're saying like, which I kind of agree. Is like you kind of want them to keep their options kind of open. Be open to like traveling and seeing how things are in other countries, but also still be here, kind of like, still open it. Maybe they might, find somebody, or maybe they might do well here. Because I feel like even though I feel like I did okay here in the States. I was able to do all right. Not as well as I'm doing like overseas. But the thing is, like with my nephews and stuff, it could turn out like maybe like, our nephews or like the younger ones we look after, maybe they become like the best, captain of the basketball team, or they become some type of celebrity, or, maybe they open a business that does really well. So for them, maybe they might not have as hard of a time dealing with some of the women here. But then again, you look at what's the quarterback's name? Tom Brady. He recently, I don't know if you know, but he's about to get a divorce. He's married to this model. I think her name is like Giselle or something like that. And her complaint.
Brazilian. She's Brazilian.
Yeah, she's Brazilian. Okay. Yeah, she was upset with him, I believe, because something about he's spending too much time with the games or something like that. Which is like, I don't know, I just think it's pretty silly. I mean, he's bringing in like millions of dollars. I don't know why she'll be complaining about that, but I guess on her end, since she already has money, she kind of feels like, it's like, I don't know. For that reason, she feels like she can kind of pour rank with him a lot. So I don't know. So a lot of times I just feel like even the guys who would technically be like a Chad Tyrone, or doing really well in the States, like financially, or like pretty much would be a high value man, even they, while they may get the woman, they're not really getting a lot of like cooperation. So, but I kind of feel like what you're saying, like what I would do is I would just, I guess, encourage my, go ahead.
I think a person in his position, and if I was a man in that position like Tom Brady, I wouldn't so much care about her cooperation. If
Yeah,
she didn't
yeah.
cooperate, she would just have to leave. You know,
No, I agree.
just,
I
just as
agree.
simple as that. They can be replaced. So that's why I tell my nephews. I
Yeah,
say, look,
yeah,
man, worry about your money. Get your money straight. Get it good enough
yeah,
where you happy. You don't have to
yeah,
go out here and deal with women in these ways. If you find a woman she's not moving the way you need her to move, just cut her loose. Because it's not working. Because you see your uncle. I've been married twice
yeah.
and I'm divorced twice. So I'm like,
Gotcha.
it's not worth it. So
Yeah,
um, and by them being younger and they coming up, I'm a
yeah.
little bit older, and what they got to come up with, and
Mm.
what they're dealing with, I see what they're dealing with, and I'm like, look,
Yeah,
listen to me, look, listen
yeah,
to me. I, I shoot them content on Passport Brothers and
yeah,
everything, and I'm hoping that they feed into it and go in
yeah,
that somewhat direction. One of those directions. You get your money right or something, but they are though, because
yeah,
they already left the state that we're in and moved to different states, so they're trying to. But I'm
yeah.
just trying to get them go to a different step now. Maybe try to lead the country. See
No,
what
no,
you like. I
I
do.
agree. No, I agree. That sounds good because actually I'm happy now, really, that the passport bro movement is kind of taking off. Because at one point, it almost used to be like a somewhat of a stigma attached to people that were like dating outside of like the country and that kind of thing. And then that slowly changed. I know like there was a show like called 90 Day Fiance that kind of helped it become more mainstream. And then with all the older like passport bros, like all the military men with them just traveling, just telling tales on YouTube about meeting women overseas. I just feel like that finally got it to a point where like men are just kind of really weighing things, like just kind of looking at, okay, I can deal with the women here, and I can deal with some of the women here, and instead of having to go overseas, because a lot of times, like some of my friends, they'll just say like, um, well, one, they'll just ask me like, how much am I spending, like to fly and all this stuff like that. So really, they're trying to say like, it will be cheaper for you just to stay here and meet somebody, and why can't you just do that versus like going somewhere else? But it's just a matter of like, you're not gonna get the same type of quality. Like I could stay here and try to toughen it out with them, but I don't really see like the point in doing it. Um, Especially with like you say, all it takes is like a plane trip, and then you out of the country, and you just find somebody that's kind of like the total opposite of like some of the women here. You know,
I mean, it's so much benefit into
yeah,
going overseas. Anyway, and it just open up your eyes more to what's going on out the world and how you move through the world. And we should travel. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
It's,
not,
it just make for a happier life, for a happier person. I'm thinking so. You just start to travel with me. When I
I
travel
agree.
across the states, I feel better. Certain places I go get certain jobs. So
Yeah, yeah, I did notice that like because I actually grew up like in the more like the Chicagoland like area. And I just remember when I was out there, because what happened was I was in Chicago, then I moved to Florida, and now I'm more like on the East Coast side. And I just noticed a complete difference. Like when I was in more like the Chicago area, in my opinion, it was a little easier to kind of pick up to start off conversations with some of the women, especially like non-black women. But then when I went to Florida, which is like a red state, um, like the Miami type of area, it was just like a different vibe. It was just very snooty, and it was, and then it was to me, it was a little bit harder to do like the interracial thing if you wanted to date a woman outside your race. It just seemed very, I don't know. It just like it was like to me, it was a little bit more difficult. And then even up here where I'm at on the east, it's still a little, I don't know. It's kind of like the people kind of keep them themselves. They'll be friendly with you, but I agree. I just see the difference when you go to different parts of the United States. Like the dating culture is like a little bit different. So
yeah, Yeah, I noticed that too because I'm also from the Midwest too as well. I moved out into the West Coast,
Gotcha.
Michigan, like over 20 years ago. And, that's why I've been out here ever since because I like it so much more. It's like you got out here, you get a variety of it. You got Mexican, you got white girls, and you got black girls. So it was just like when I started seeing all the Mexicans. Where I'm from in Michigan, like Detroit, saw very little
Yeah.
Mexicans, if any at all. So when I came out here and I started seeing them, I'm like, wow. And all the brothers I know out here that deal with Mexicans always tell me it's a better deal than dealing with the system. You know, in a lot of cases. All the brothers I know out here that deal with Mexicans always tell me. So I think
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I agree. Um,
Yeah.
all right, so now we have a few other people watching. They're just not barely in the chat, which is okay. Yeah, because I was just worried for a second. I was like, I guess we're gonna be the only ones. But no, okay. But
So you
yeah,
the
no,
wingman. You the wingman, right?
yeah, exactly,
Oh,
exactly.
okay. I caught a few of your
Like videos.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, gotcha.
I did a few of them. Yeah, so yeah, I subscribe to you.
Gotcha. I definitely appreciate that. Yeah. So what I had planned also for this stream is to one like further the conversation about this, and then also I kind of wanted to give a little bit of some examples. Um, Probably going to take it to what's up, JJ? How you doing, man? Yeah. So let me share my screen. I want to share something. Would you want to share a few little things I had planned? Um, what was the first one I had? Yeah, so this was the woman that had sparked this whole conversation. I want to start automatically add screen shares to screen. Yeah, start screen sharing. Entire screen share. Wow. All right, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, okay. So this is the woman right here that I was talking about. This woman here, she has seven different children. Seven different children. She's pregnant with a child, and then she's on Kendra G's show talking about she's looking for a man. And I believe she was saying in this stream that she was going to be celibate until she meets the her husband, whatever. So I brought this up just to say that when BGF saw this, he pretty much said that like the community is kind of over because when you got women that are this comfortable, being a single mother, and it's kind of like they're kind of like growing in this energy. So that's why I brought up the thought of if because of course she's raising some daughters as well. So you got to think about how she's going to train her daughters to be, and then our nephews, some of us have sons, that kind of thing. Like they're gonna have to interact with a lot of these women. So it just makes me wonder, like, how should we go about like grooming them to deal with this? Because like just like you said, it's for us, it was already bad, but I feel like for them, it's like even worse.
Wow.
You want to ask something?
No, go ahead, brother. Play the
Okay.
video.
Yeah, I just want to show y'all about 20 seconds just to kind of just go ahead. And she's gonna right now what she's doing is she's gonna describe all her children, and it just I don't know, it's just a mess.
A 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old. Wait, I gotta write it down. So show me again from the top. I have an 11-year-old, 9, 8, 2 3-year-olds, a 5-year-old, and a 1-year-old. Boom. Okay, and you're pregnant. Yes. So are you pregnant? How many men? How many baby daddies do I have? Yes. Child's fathers do I have? Yes. I have 4.
Wow.
So your current?
Wow. And I wanted to show you this article I was looking at. Because actually there was I don't know if you remember, there was an article maybe about a few months back that said there was going to be a huge increase in like single lonely men and that kind of thing. So the lady that wrote that article, right after that, she had wrote an article about how empowering it is to be a single mother. If you look here, it says being a single mother has been eye-opening and empowering in a way I had never expected. I find solo parenting to be empowering. So I just wanted to display some of that just to kind of give everyone like a view of what's going on in the dating culture right now. So it just makes you think like we already know it's bad, because I grew up in a time where I grew up more like in the 80s, 90s, before there was Instagram, before there was really like the internet. So I feel like during that time it wasn't as bad. But I feel like now with Instagram and with all these things, like this article I just showed you, and with the culture kind of promoting this and making the women kind of comfortable behaving like this, it just makes me think about what our sons and like our younger nephews and the younger men gonna have to grow up with, how they're gonna have to deal with this. Because it seems like just the fact that you saw that woman with the 7 kids, she just felt like she didn't really look that ashamed. So they don't have any shame. They're comfortable being like that. It's going to be really difficult for a lot of our young men to kind of find some decent wives. So just like you were saying, it just makes me think like, if anything else, maybe while they're younger, we kind of give them more like red pill content, kind of. And then if they're old and they still are having issues, maybe we introduce them to like the passport bro movement, that kind of thing. But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I actually saw that it was 2 videos that came from TV.
Yeah.
First one I saw, I thought she was lying about all the children that she had.
Oh, yeah, she was making that probably just for attention.
Right. Even Kendra G thought she was lying too, because I think Kendra G hung up on her. So that was actually the second video that she called back.
Yeah.
It came out to be the truth. But what I've noticed, a lot of these women, they comfortable with it because there's always going to be a guy that's going to give them what they want, as far as giving them another baby. Because after she told me she had 2 children without it, like, I'm out.
Exactly.
I'm not about to put no third one in it, no fourth one. So it's those brothers, man, that's just picking up at that, hitting it up.
Yeah.
Babies in her, I'm looking at them brothers like, hey, come on, brother. She got 3 children already. You want to give her a 4th one? You want to give her
my goodness.
What is you thinking? That's just like when I was watching something when they were talking about Future had all these children. And they was calling Future, he this, he that, he that. He got all these children. But then his brother said, well, what about the women that knew he had all these children, but they still had his baby, So it's the same concept as that. So I'm not about to give no lady no 3rd, 4th child. Not in this day. It's too expensive and it's too reckless out here with them when it comes to dealing with them. So
I agree. The other thing was I don't know if you watch like Dennis Sperlin's show, but he mentioned that if you're with a woman that has kids and you make any type of payment towards those kids, even if you leave, they can make it in some states where you have to pay child support for that. So in the case of like these guys dating women who have 3, 4 kids, I mean, it can get pretty, they can get messed up pretty financially, which is like, I'm like with you, like after I would have heard so many kids, I would have been out. But just like you said, I'm still so shocked that like after having her 5th or 6th kid, she still was able to find some guys that are willing to put up with that. I guess, we got a lot of thirsty and we got a lot of simps, a lot of thirsty simps. But yeah, I was looking at JJ Wilson's comment. He was saying the boys who are willing to travel, they should do it. And then Logical Mindset said he's raising his sons to get the F out of here.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get the F up out of here, But, I'm glad I can,
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Like just like you said, we like more than like the lucky ones. We have enough income, or our finances in order. We can kind of travel. But just think about the ones that either they got like they don't have the finances to travel, or maybe something happened where I don't know, maybe they got a woman pregnant really young, and she's got almost some hard child support or something like that, and they can't really leave. They got to kind of, or even like some of the felons, they got to kind of just toughen it out here with what they can. I definitely agree. Was the United Simps of America. That's it. Yeah.
It's very simple out
Yeah. 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 What was I gonna say? Yeah, so because the other thing is well, I was gonna show this other video of this lady that and maybe because I don't want to hold up the show as well, but I'll just show you a quick clip of one of the women. If I was gonna do another, what is it? Let me pull this up real quick. Yeah, because I was gonna show everyone like the type of woman that a lot of our young men are going to kind of deal with. I just want to show you their mentality. So let me just show this one other video. Can you see my screen? See it? All right. So this woman is talking about dating broke men. There was somebody in my anyway, there was a detractor that was talking about the passport bros and saying that we're like dusty. We always want to go 50-50. So I just wanted to play a small clip of this, only about 20 seconds, and then I want to kind of discuss this talking point. And this woman here just kind of shows you a little bit of what our younger men are going to have to deal with growing up. And you can just see that it's just getting like worse and worse.
Or online talking crap about how women can't pay for shit or don't want to pay for shit. And no man is going to want a girl who just expects to be paid for everything and don't do nothing herself. Those same dudes can't afford shit themselves. And if you can't afford shit, don't ask me out. Because I'm not paying for everything. That's crazy. I'm out here being used for money that I don't have. That's crazy. Now you got me judging you for being broke when I was, trying to give people a chance. Now I don't want to give a chance no more.
Oh my goodness. And I want to show you just this one little clip as well. This is a woman who's now about, I think she says she's about 48 years old. And she's trying to talk about how women are better off being single and why they're happier than men being single. And what you're gonna realize, you're gonna get a quick glimpse of some of the men that she's dating, and then I'm gonna discuss that. So I'll just put this on for a second.
And I am so much happier not having to take care of a man. And that's the irony of men, in my opinion, that they want to provide and protect. They want to provide what exactly? Stress? Because in my life, men have provided nothing but stress and disappointment. They've provided a lot of promises and no follow through. They've provided a lot of annoyance, a lot of messes, a lot of dishes in the sink and dumps in the toilet.
All right, we're gonna end with that. Yeah, because I want to keep playing that annoying woman's video. But I just wanted to at least show that to say, like, first off, from the woman we just saw right here, you can easily tell when she's talking about that we don't provide anything and that men are pretty much for the most part not taking care of dishes. In my previous video, I don't know if you noticed this, one of the talking points that a lot of these women who have a problem with passport bros and just men in general, they're generally saying that we want a slave. When we tell them to cook and clean, that's equivalent to slavery. And if you notice in that video I just showed you, she mentioned that we leave things like dirty dishes. But what my thing is, why do they think that when we come, like, why do they think that we just come home from work and we don't do any of the house chores? Most men are, when they get home, they're taking out the trash, they're mowing the lawn. If the sink needs being fixed, they're fixing the sink, they're fixing the garbage disposal. On Christmas, they're putting up the Christmas lights, they're mowing the lawn. We do all that after getting off work, after working a 40-hour shift, coming home and doing that. So my thing is, if the men are doing those type of chores, what house chores should the woman be doing? We leave them the easy stuff. All we need you to do is to cook and clean. And the problem she has is now she's 48. And as you know, you can already tell what type of men she's been kind of dating, like the Chads and Tyrones and that kind of thing. And then now she wants to start blaming all men for her issues. Just like the first woman, the other woman, the black woman I showed you, she talked about 50-50 and she has to pay for the man. You can obviously see that she's been dating a lot of like Pookie and Ray Rays and that kind of thing. And the whole problem is, as we know, like right now they might not see a lot of value in the men, especially they might, you know, a lot of them are saying things when they hear about passport bros, like when you leaving, we don't need you, all the stuff like that. And it's just unfortunate, like I said, they not until they get much older past their prime, then suddenly they're looking back at us, but we're gonna be gone at that point. So back to my discussion, I guess it would be since we already see this kind, like just from the 2 videos I showed you, you already see that it's kind of like a burning building. We all decided, like logical mind said, to get the F out of here, get our passports up and leave. But the thing is, what about our sons? What about our nephews who are, you know, maybe they're 15, 16 years old. They're seeing this kind of stuff, you know, they kind of think maybe, you know, should we, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, sometimes people look at the youth and say that the youth can change. So since the youth can change and these younger women can kind of change, do you think it's worth, I guess, encouraging the younger males to kind of work it out with the women that are here and try to fix things? Or do you think it's kind of like beyond repairable?
No, I believe it could be fixed. It's going to be, it can be fixed by us, or it's going to be fixed by the outer world. And what I mean by that, the way things going in this world now, if if where we at now, at this point in the United States of America, outside what we talking about in the community of passport brothers, if this World War III and all this stuff that's going on out here pop off, women going to have to come in. They're going to have to find some protection and some guidance. So a lot of them are going to be more cooperative. Like Kevin Samuels was saying, hey, women is coming. It's still coming. It ain't froze yet, you know.
Yeah.
After COVID, you know how it went down. So don't think that COVID is over. And don't
I agree.
That this country in this situation that's going on, I'm not saying it might escalate or it might not escalate. But if it happened to escalate and we expand ourselves in World War III, it's going to be a lot harder out here. So it's going to take definitely two people. It's, you know, the government. So they're going to have to find a way to cooperate. But it's going to be a lot of fallen soldiers. Going to be a lot of lost people. So it's going to happen. We're going to have to work together eventually.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of brothers that's going to leave too. Yeah.
I agree.
You know, those brothers that leave, you know, might be in a better situation in those other places. I don't know. So I would advise them to, if they got a girl that they can work with here, and she cooperates, and she cooperates, and she gives them what they need, stay with it, work it out, you know, make it happen. But if you find yourself in a situation with this female, you're always arguing and disagreeing, and you got you a shenanigans or whatever you want to call it, man, leave her and go. You keep going through this with these same girls. But I would say, if you in your 20s, build yourself up, man.
Yeah.
You know, get your bank right. You know,
I agree.
By the time you get in your 30s, you can move how you want to move. You know,
I agree.
I wouldn't say just pack up and move in your 20s and go to those countries. No, your bank ain't filled yet. This is the advantage right here. This American dollar right now. So if you get enough of that, by the time you're 30, you can do that. Or there's ways around it. If you still want to travel, you can go over there and invest and move back and forth and grow. You know, there's ways of doing it, but I would say concentrate more on yourself if you're in your 20s. Don't even look at it as the girl point of view, but you know that's the ice on the cake, like a lot of people say.
No. I definitely agree with that. Just like you said, because like you said, pretty much in your 20s, I agree. I wish I had, you know, because when I was growing up, because like I said, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Like the internet wasn't that big then, and I don't believe we had like a manosphere. It wasn't like as big as it is now. But I wish during that time I would have had, you know, the manosphere would have been there, Passport Bros would have been around, and just like you said, in my 20s, I would have been more focused on, just like you said, building wealth, building finances, instead of being out there trying to be in the clubs and chasing women, which kind of ties into what Geechee Lion was saying. He said I would strongly teach against simdom. I paid a heavy price for that. Me as well. Consider myself kind of like a recovering simp. I did a lot of stuff I regret when I was younger. But like you said, as I got older, I got a little bit wiser, started to travel, started to see things a little bit differently. But I agree with you. Just like you said, like you really touched on a good point when you said you would kind of like give them rules and just have them ask themselves, does she submit to you? Is she under your leadership? Is she cooperative? If she is, you can kind of stay with her. I kind of had the same feeling. Like I would tell my like my younger nephews coming up, like, you know, if you can find a woman here, like they have the pick me crowd. If you can find a woman here that's, you know, because there is a pool of women that are like, I would say salvageable, that like willing to work with us, but it's just not it's put it this way, it's not the majority. That's the issue. But if you happen to find a woman that's of that minority, and she's just like you said, she's cooperative, and you know she actually sees value in being like a, you know, being a wife and submitting to a man and submitting to like your leadership, then yeah, I would say like just try to work it out with her and just stay here. You know, but if she's like the opposite and you know, I don't need no man and what can you do for me? I don't see any point in trying to like deal with that and try to, you know, red pill your way out of that and try to get around her. It's just like, why struggle and do all that when you can just get your passport and like leave? It don't even make any sense. You know, just like I said, that's kind of like my take on it. Also wanted to bring up what was I about to say? Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. But yeah, so anyway, Geechee Lion is saying I would advise my younger male relatives to consider looking abroad if they're able. Now I agree the same way. It's kind of goes back to what you were saying as well, Got Hitman, when you were saying that you would kind of at least introduce it to them, give it to them as a viable option, but in their 20s, especially younger, they should just be focused on getting your career, get your money up, and then when all that's straight, you should start considering traveling if you have not really found like a pick me woman or like a woman that's really willing to submit to like your leadership and, you know, and bond with you. Then it's probably best at that point to start looking and to travel overseas. And also the other thing you touched on that was really good as well was you talked about at some point they're going to have to come back to the table, and I definitely agree. I definitely agree. The issue has been probably for like the past, let's say like 50 years, we had all these government programs that kind of propped up feminism and the women a lot. You know, like I always say, like the public housing, food stamps. You have
Section 8.
Section 8. There's programs of a woman that's pregnant, she's not going to put out the house. When a woman has that much protection for the government, it kind of replaces men, and in that case, she's not really going to see a huge value. Like she's not going to see the value that a true man brings versus in other countries where they don't have all these kind of things. I feel like kind of like how like Andrew Tate said that like people fall back into their natural roles, because then at that point you kind of need each other to survive, and the women are going to kind of look to you more for like leadership and that kind of thing. So it kind of just works out more naturally there. But the thing is, though, in the United States, our dollar is strong, but at some point, because you know, like we're now in a recession, when things start to get really, really rough, I feel like there's going to be a change amongst like the community as far as like the dating culture and that kind of thing. You're going to suddenly see at that point when some of these programs and stuff start getting cut, you're going to start noticing that there's going to be a little change in the culture, which is why you had that little soft girl era thing that was going on for a while, where they were trying to, for the most part, to me, it was kind of like faking the funk, but they were trying to, I guess, encourage the men, the passport bros, to come back. You know, and it's kind of like, to me, it was kind of like a fake surrender. But you're gonna see like a whole lot more of that over this next coming year as like as the economy kind of, you know, I'm gonna say it's gonna tank, but it's right now it's in a really rough position, and I kind of suspect that I'm not trying to get too political, but I think I think Republicans are about to get in there. I just think that they're gonna start tightening up a lot of these programs and that kind of stuff. And then I think at that point, you're going to see a huge change in some of the women, because they're not going to be able to get it. They're not going to have all the stuff they had before.
Right. And one of the biggest changes will be, you know, it's going to be a lot of tricking going on.
Yeah.
But they're going to be at a lot of bars, but, you know, that is not going to work because a lot of people ain't going to have money to go to bars.
Exactly.
They're just going to be outright tricking. I ain't saying they're going to be walking the streets, but
Yeah.
You'll see more pages gonna come more obviously.
Yes.
They doing more obviously that they're doing it. It's probably they probably gonna start speaking on legalizing it because they're gonna see brothers going overseas, like, and they already think we going overseas for so they're gonna be like, hey, this money there. Because I hear one content creator say that in New York, you see it on the street. It's damn near legal. So usually New York do it first, other cities start, the other states start doing it. So they're gonna start sliding in. It's already in Vegas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you got all these massage powers. So it's just gonna blow up more. They're gonna turn it in.
I agree.
And a lot of suckers go out and spend their money on that and attack that. So I think the passport movement is just a lot of talk right now. I mean, it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's going to slow down, and then that's going to pick up. Prostitution thing. So, a lot of brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. Because I actually saw that, just like you said, I did see that there was a news video in which they were showing like all these Asian massage places in New York. You can see the woman right in front of like the massage parlor out in the open. I believe in Seattle the same thing was happening there. And then I don't know if you noticed in LA, they just passed a bill where they're no longer going to prosecute like the kind of like the street walking one. I think it's called Figueroa, that like street or whatever, where it's like women that pretty much the what do you call it, the what do you call it, the the strip or whatever, with the women, with the streetwalkers, that kind of thing. So pretty much they made it where the police are no longer going to arrest those women if they're out there. So just like you said, they're slowly creeping that into like the culture because they already see what their economy is. So it's just going to be a whole lot more of that. I just think it's just going to kind of like I'm not gonna say across the board it might be legal, but as you can see, they're making it easier and easier and easier because they already see like the direction this is going. Just like you said, they already see that many men are just already leaving the country to kind of look for women, that kind of thing. So they want those dollars to kind of remain here. So I agree with you. It's gonna kind of slide into that. So just like you said, it's gonna get to a point where, like I said, they're gonna have to come back to the table at some point and try to work it out with us. I'm not sure like what that's gonna look like, but the other issue is that some of us that kind of really seen them how they are, and some men are just like they're just so over them that they don't. It's almost like it doesn't matter if they kind of came back. They just kind of want to move on, So that's why I just posed the question of, like a lot of us have been like so. I'm not gonna say damaged by them, but might have had so many negative experiences we don't even want to deal with them anymore. But as far as like the youth, the ones that are up and coming, they have not had like they're still like learning and growing and doing like a lot of trial and error with women. So, it makes you wonder, like, what about with them? Since things are changing, should they just kind of like toughen it out, see where things are going, and then try to like, maybe if possible, fix things here and then just stay here? That kind of thing. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be, I'll say, like over the next few years, it's going to be really interesting.
Well, yeah. I like to. I tell my nephews. I like to tell them not to mess with them. Period. Just leave them alone. Get your shit together.
Yeah.
Get your stuff together and step. But we men, I know how it was when I was 20. Man, you see the girl, you had attention. So
yeah.
I agree. Try to tell them to keep an open mind about who they mess with. Don't be falling in love. Let them know, man. That's right now. That's sucker stuff. So you ain't trying to be simple. Falling in love and paying her bills, paying her car. No. Get that money, put it in the bank.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, it's okay. Don't get her pregnant. None of that. Don't let her lie to you. Just don't be up under her all day.
Yeah.
Give it a cold shoulder, because if my father went through it, he told me about it, then I went through it. I told my son about it, he went through it, so it's bound to happen, keep happening. It's a thing, so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Just like you said, like just like I said, we, instead of tricking it off, maybe just put it away to the side, put it in the bank, let the thing kind of grow. Because it kind of and I spoke to I don't know if you know this, there's a YouTuber named like Pablo Frescobar, but he kind of mentioned this too, where like after going overseas and dealing with women over there, and like even just spending your money, even for dudes that do like pay for play, that kind of thing, whatever. After just dealing with the women over there and doing that, it don't like when you come back here, you see how high prices are, and then like the attitude, it's just almost like you almost don't even want to spend the money here. You don't want to go to. It's almost like going to a strip club or going to these other things. They don't even really make sense when you just think about like your bang for your buck, like what you're getting. But I agree with you. Just it's more like if you can save up, get your finances in order. DG Lion was saying, I officially became a passport bro as my marriage ended. A man's age, along with finance, is a major factor in what he can really do. I definitely agree, which is what we're touching on right now. Just like you're saying, work on your finances. And some people have said, like, as men get older, like, which is true, as we get older, like we increase in value. I believe BGS was saying that like most men hit their financial I think you start getting financially well off in your late 30s, and then when you hit your 40s, 50s, you're kind of like striding as far as like your like your finances. So I definitely agree with that statement. Like as we're getting older, we get our finances in order. We have like our options become like extremely huge in comparison than when we were like in our 20s. I definitely agree with that. JJ Wilson said maybe you will see a rise in bordellas with madams running the businesses if prostitution gets more normal. I agree. Just like in I went to I actually was in Germany one time. It's like all over there, and like prices like very low. Because the other thing that's going to happen is with that, you have all these women talking about if a man don't pay for like a $400 date, I'm not gonna go out. I'm not gonna go out on a date with him. Stuff like that. But once that, just like JJ was saying, like once that stuff gets normalized, men are gonna start looking at that and saying, like, I'm not paying $400 for like, to take a woman out who might not be interested, might not want to do anything with me. It won't even make any sense at that point. I just think, just like you said, that in itself is gonna start checking some of this behavior, because they're gonna start seeing that they can no longer get over on a lot of guys with that kind of like attitude. So DG Lion, lots of sexual issues in society were laid bare when the government brought down Backpage, and they should have leave the massage places the F alone. I definitely agree with that. Because I remember they had took down Backpage. The thing that's so dumb about that is it's gonna, like prostitution, all that stuff is gonna go on no matter what. They can shut stuff down. That doesn't even matter. Like like just like you said, they'll shut down a massage parlor, but then the same massage parlor will be right back up like the next week. I just think it's kind of like a lost war, kind of like almost like the war on drugs. It's just kind of a waste of time. They're gonna do it anyway. So I agree with you. I just to me, it's like a waste of time. They should just leave it as it is. Overall, they should just legalize it. I just think it'll. I just think that whole situation with them trying to trying to shut that stuff down, and I just think it's a waste of time. It's like the world's oldest profession. It's been here before us and will be here after us. It's just a waste of time for them to try to shut that stuff down. When you do the math, it makes sense to save up for 2 weeks, at least abroad, or retire if possible. When I retire, the F out of here. I know I can get a high quality. Exactly. And that goes to this other point. One of the other things the detractors said about Passport Bros is, and there's this guy, I'm not gonna mention his name because he talks about a lot of the Passport Bros. It's like pretty much this whole channel is dealing with that. So one of the things he has said was, you guys, you go out of the country, but y'all go infrequently. Y'all go maybe once out of the year for a week, 2 weeks, that kind of thing. But the thing about that is there was a study done, and I think they said about 30% of men have not had sex, I think, in like the last year or two. So it's like 30% of men who are not getting any action at all for like the whole year. And there's also an increase, because I watch I don't know if you know the podcast is Fresh and Fit, but they also talk about it as well. There's actually an increase in male virgins as well. So I said it to say, not necessarily to, so pretty much I said it to say this. Those guys who take a trip once or twice, per year, they're actually getting more action than 30% of American men who are here 365 days a year. Because he brought it up to say, why don't we just date some of the women here? It's a waste of time for you to spend your money up just to go for 1 week. But but you have 30% of men who are just sitting here 365 days a year. They're going to clubs. They are approaching these women, but they're not getting any results. Versus a guy who just like we were saying, maybe like out of a year, he has 2 weeks vacation. He spends a week on vacation. He goes out of the country. He's gotten more action than 30% of American men just by doing that. And on top of that, like I said, once he goes there, I mean, the other thing they don't think about is they think we're just only going over there for that. That's not the only reason men are traveling. Some men go over there for like business reasons. Some men are going over there for vacation. There's some guys that don't even do pay for play. They don't even deal with those women in general. They just date regular girls in general. So they're going over there to find a wife. They're going over there to find like a fiance. And if you think about the fact that another thing he's not considering is that some people live very close to the Mexican border. People in Florida, Georgia, the southern states, a ticket from there to DR is only about, you can get a ticket probably for like $250. So they really can visit if they wanted to at least once per month for like a weekend, and they can meet somebody there. They could do like a long distance relationship. It's a lot of women there will be open to that. And they'll be dating, and just by traveling once per month for 2 or 3 days throughout the year, they're going on more dates. They're getting more action from a woman than literally about 30% of the men in the United States. And this is not just black men. This is white men, Hispanic men, Asian men. So to me, it's still just a better deal, so, and on top of that, they're also not considering that in the States to date some of these women. I mean, it's not like, put it this way, you're going to have to put in some time. Sometimes you're going to put in time. You're going to have to sacrifice some of your resources. And then there's also a dinner and dash culture going on, where I think Kevin Samuels was saying 1 in 4 women are just, for the most part,
Want a meal?
Yeah, they're just going out with you on a date just to get the meal, but then they don't plan to do anything with you. They have no interest in you. They're just there to get their food, and they're just there to get it and then flee. That's pretty much what they're doing. So versus if you go to some of these, so here's the thing. The reason I think a lot of men kind of fall victim to that is just like what Geechee was saying, like, some men have not had any play for like a long time. So they're kind of, for the most part, kind of thirsty. So they're just willing to do, pay $400 dates, take women out to all these expensive places, and hope that she might even, give him a little bit of play or something like that. Versus if that same guy, if he was taking regular trips to the DR, he's going to be well taken care of by a lot of women there. So those women in the States can't run that type of game on him. And then even when he's overseas, like I said, you're going to have so much, there's such a huge supply of women that are interested in you. And most men are not dumb. And I think when you go overseas, and when most men see that, even the men who are like, I guess, thirsty in the States, when they go to these other countries and they're well taken care of, I think a lot of that simping kind of goes away. So overall, I just think to me, it's just a better off deal. I just think that, I just think, for the most part, like I say, he can kind of miss me with that, but
yeah, it's a hell of a great deal, because you can't, thinking about women and thinking about making your money at the same time. At least with me, I can't. If I'm thinking about my money and I haven't been with a woman in a while, I'm thinking about a woman too. So
yeah,
it's kind of interfering with my thinking, So when I was married, I was pleased with my life, So my folks was on money. I was able to go grab it, because she would give me the energy that I needed. I feel like whatever I needed, she was back there. She was right there. But when it started becoming a problem, I started losing focus on my money.
Yeah.
So when the brothers go over to the DR, to Colombia, or wherever they're going, clear their head, clear that part. Once they get that out of their system, they come back here. Now they're on the money making issue. Well, at least they should be, because they're not thinking about the women here. They're not thinking about that, because they can get a nice looking woman in these countries.
Yeah.
Just pay a couple dollars.
Yeah.
They could do that twice a year.
Exactly.
Be satisfied.
Exactly.
And that's what a lot of them are scared of.
No, I agree. I agree.
They're losing that power.
I definitely agree with that. No more.
That's their power. That's their power.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That was the rapper Little Baby. He paid, I think I think he paid this IG model to fly out to him. He paid her like $10,000 for her to sleep with him, like $10,000. And when I saw a picture of her, she looked like a woman you would see in a DR. And for the guys that do pay for play, they're not gonna pay even nowhere near that amount, So just like you said, it at least gets the guys who are kind of some borderline thirsty or not really getting, they can kind of go there, they kind of get out of their system. Just like I said, when they come back, it's just like they can't get over you on $400 dates anymore. They can't do like the dinner and dash, which is why a lot of guys have started saying, they made the women do like 50-50, or they told them let's go on coffee dates. So some of the women were complaining about that. But the issue is the reason why men started doing that because they just started seeing that they were getting taken advantage of, because the women weren't like reciprocating any type of affection, and a lot of times they're just using the guys. So that's kind of where that whole culture of that came about. It's not even so much that I don't even think so much that the guys are cheap and they don't have money. It's just that they got tired of just like you said, women playing these power games with them, and then you have the other thing with the Me Too movement, and now it's just getting bad to the point where like I don't know if one of you guys saw my other video, but anyway, in Australia, in one of the clubs, there's actually a rule where you can't look too long at a woman, or you can't approach too many women, otherwise they'll escort you out of the club.
I listened to that video.
Yeah, so it's just like I just think in some of the West, it's just getting worse and worse, and it's really going to work in their to their destruction. I mean, it's really going to work to their disadvantage because especially like the clubs, because as I was saying before, like clubs make their money off drinks, but guys are not going to be buying girls drinks if they're just using them and running off. So that kind of works against them. And then just like you said, if they were to legalize, it in the States like it is overseas, just like you said, I think a lot of this whole power dynamic between us is just going to be a huge shift. They're going to, at that point, they're going to really see the value of like having a man that has some type of, if anything else has his finances in order. Like right now they can't see it in the States because they kind of propped up by the government and all these programs. But women overseas, they see that every day. It's like almost like a jungle in some countries where, not only they are dealing with the finances, but the police over there, the police and the law over there is not as efficient as it is here. Like here, somebody does something to a woman, you're gonna get, more than likely they're gonna get locked up. But over in these other countries, maybe not so much. In those countries, they'll a lot of them kind of really see the value of having a man to protect them and provide like leadership and that kind of thing. Versus here in the States, they kind of just have daddy government to like kind of replace us for the most part. But yeah. Geechee Lion said, I've had my livelihood threatened because I looked at a woman. No, I agree, Jack. Like I agree, Jack. And here's the thing, Geechee. Like, I recently went to like my company's meeting. It was a lot of other women there. I kind of work in the IT space. And when I was younger, I'll say like in my 20s, when I used to work, I would try to sometimes greet these women by giving them like a hug. But as I start seeing all these movements and people getting canceled, I don't even do that anymore. I barely want to just shake their hand. Sometimes I'll just wave, but I'll at least extend my hand and shake them because I agree, Judge. It's just now it's just gotta really, which is only going to push more and more men to travel because they're just going to get tired of like this whole culture of making all men to be predators and that kind of thing. And I don't know if you guys know who like Cynthia G is, but yeah, she recently had a video when she was calling black men what you saying? We were predators, we participate in femicide, all these little I don't know, just these man bashing talking points or whatever. So I'm just like, and the thing about it that was so crazy was I believe it was she said that in a stream, and it was almost like 10,000 people in that stream. It just like that's why I just think it's gonna be like yeah, it's just gonna get worse for a while. So that's why again I pose a question like, what do we do about our sons and our nephews and like the men,
First of all, we got to set an example for them.
Yeah,
we got to be the ones to go do it and show them.
Yeah,
put them pictures on Facebook showing with the women, showing the fun that we have because that's what's going to attract them, to make that move instead of once they get sick of that girl they're dealing with, or they gotta get play over here. they go want to go somewhere else. You know, once we get older as men, we want to start traveling. Especially, I know I wanted where I was at, 17. You know, so yeah, we just got to be the example and lead the way. You know, that's why I believe it's here at this time, this past week for us as black men.
Yeah.
We have to show them that, hey, we will lead. Y'all don't cooperate.
Yeah. I agree. I think just like you said, the issue I think was, like you said, we just seen too many men, just let, like, for the most part, letting their women kind of wear their pants in a relationship, and we just kind of tried to like normalize that. Like I think somebody was bringing up the fact, like you see a lot of shows where, like The Simpsons, Homer Simpson on there, he's like a dummy. His wife is a smart one. You always got like all these shows that just make men look like we shouldn't be in leadership positions. We should kind of let the women lead. And like a lot of men like growing up on that. So I think that's partial the reason why it was so hard for men to kind of like finally speak out about some of this and like, just let them know that we're not going to tolerate this anymore.
Right. And it's going to be a change though. All we have to
do is I agree.
Gotta be about it. If you're going to say passport brothers, I like to say the passport brothers instead of bros. Say bros, you take other out of it. You know,
gotcha. No, that's a good way to look at it. Passport brothers. Yeah. No, I agree.
So we just have to be about it. You know.
Yeah.
And make that powerful.
I agree.
But, we just gotta, like older heads told us, just be careful when we deal with these women.
I agree. I agree.
It's hard.
Just like you said, I'm just happy that men are waking up to this, and like all the men are like starting to speak out, and we're starting to form like our own little, like groups and channels, and starting to like have our own like voice. But it's getting you see they're trying to like censor a lot of the guys. Like they censored Andrew Tate. Recently there was another person, Sneeko. So it's just like, even I suspect on my channel sometimes I look at my numbers. It looks like, I'm not gonna say I'm shadow banned, but I did notice a lot of like Passport Bros, like their channels seem like that, especially Dennis Sperling, like he was saying, he thinks that YouTube is like unsubscribing some of his subscribers and that kind of thing. So it's just like important, just like you said, that we kind of stick together and kind of really speak out and be like the example. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, but it's also a market out here too. So a lot of brothers talking passport now. So your content is gonna have to be that much better to get that out of it, because there's so many brothers now doing talking passport. So many channels, period, talking passport.
Yeah.
In some type of ways. If they put that in their title, a lot of people get a lot of hits and views. So, but it's gonna come to a head, and I think only strong will survive.
I agree. Just like you said. So I agree with you. Like it is, like I said, over this next few years, it's gonna get really, really interesting. It's gonna be really interesting, especially with like I said, I suspect the Republicans are about to get in there, and then even with that next election, it's just gonna be like, I don't know, it's gonna be very interesting to kind of sit back and see what happens to like the culture. But I think, just like I said, it's gonna be more in our favor because it's gonna be, especially like I said, with us traveling and them paying attention to it and seeing that we're actually serious about this, that we're not gonna like keep living in the same condition. But
I just hope that as far as this winter coming up, as far as the 19, they don't put a restriction on travel.
Yeah, actually, that's the thing I was worried about too. I was like, I hope they don't start trying to do that, because like I think like people were saying that like you were saying too, like they see that we're leaving and our U.S. dollars are going over there, and just like you said, men are going to stop. They're not going to the strip club anymore. They're not going in a bar dealing with women who got attitudes, and they're not going to be buying them drinks. So all that money that would have went to these clubs and even being spent on these women is now being taken overseas. So, and also the other thing is that as they also see that a lot of American men are not marrying these women, we're actually going overseas and marrying women overseas. And now you got like this big pool of American women who are going to be single mothers or unmarried. It's going to cause like a lot of pressure. So I agree with you. I'm like, I don't want them to start trying to put restrictions on things, but they actually tried to do that in Sweden and wound up failing because it's kind of like a form of discrimination. They tried to a lot of the Swedish men were bringing in a lot of Thai women. They were marrying them, and a lot of women were getting upset about that. So I think it was the governor. I think it was a female governor. She tried to stop that by putting like a law in place, but it kind of fell through the cracks. So, but I agree. Like I said, they might try. Eventually, gonna probably try something like that. But there's like I said, just during that time, we just gotta like stick it out and stick together. I just think it's probably gonna come. It's probably gonna come.
They might try to throw a travel tax on it or something like that.
Yeah.
Push the tax up. They're gonna do something, especially if any women get into, into office. That if it become a problem, trust me, they're gonna stop it.
No, I agree. Because right now, I think 1 in 3 Black women are getting married. And in the white community, right now they were saying it was like 50% were getting married, but I had heard that that's only because they include the numbers from the boomer generation. They were saying once the boomers pass away, the number in the white community goes to like 1 in 3 as well. So it's going to be like a huge amount of women that are not getting married is because a lot of men we don't want to deal with them anymore. Like all these attitudes, all that kind of stuff. We're not trying to wife up those type of women anymore.
Right, because that's why they trying to put a stop to the ADs. The ADs.
Yeah.
So they're trying to put a stop to that, some type of way because of the population.
Yeah.
Growth on that side of the community is at a negative decline. So they had to come up.
Yeah.
So now that brothers leaving, people leaving, not only just brothers, but they've been doing it for years. This is just drawing more attention to that as well.
Yeah.
So they want to be like, hey, we can do something to this.
No, I agree.
Right, the vulture's going to be on it anyway, so they're going to find a way to make more money out of it, travel, because they seeing the passport going up. Like, oh, wow, we got all these people getting passport. Vulture going to look at it and say, well, I can get more money out of these passports. But this is what we're going to do. So they're going to capitalize off of it. They're going to capitalize off anything that's wrong. So just be prepared for that too as well.
I agree. No, I definitely agree. Just like you said, if they keep saying like our dollar amounts, like because a lot of the clubs and even a matter of fact, what's his name? Obsidian. I don't know if you know it's Obsidian, but he made an interesting point probably about a year ago. There was a bunch of like wedding stores and stuff shutting down. A lot of those stores were shutting down because men were not really getting married like the way they used to. Even I forgot what you call those things, but like when women are giving birth, there's like little birth centers. A lot of those had to close down as well because women weren't having as many children as well. Because as you can see, like a lot of men are not wifing up these women, or we're going overseas with our money, and we're pretty much for the most part taking our dollars overseas. We're not really dealing with a lot of the culture here. So like at some point, just like you said, they're going to try to do something. Maybe not soon, but over maybe like the next 4 or 5 years when it starts really hitting them, they're gonna try to put some type of ban in or something like that. JJ is saying travel restrictions on men in the U.S. will basically be the beginning of the collapse for the country if they try that method. I definitely agree because the other thing is the airlines make so much money off us, us buying those flights, especially the men that travel to like Southeast Asia and that kind of thing. Those trips are like pretty expensive. Even the guys that go to DR, if they're doing that regularly, that's part of the economy as well. So they ban that, it's gonna really hurt like the airlines and that kind of thing. And even they do that, you got men who just say like they just don't want to deal with it so much. They'll just go like MGTOW and they'll just not deal with the women in general. I mean, if anything, all that's gonna happen is more men are just start going across the Mexican border and go over to countries over there. I mean, they can't completely keep us from like just like leaving or whatever. So I just think it's gonna be like they're gonna try, but I just think it's gonna be like a little failed attempt like that.
Well, what another possibility is something that can happen because I'm out here in Arizona, so I'm right back.
Yeah.
So I see, I'm also a truck driver, so I drive.
Okay.
driving the roads here in Arizona and California for the past 4 years, and I also see a lot of military equipment and stuff being moved around that I
Yeah.
wasn't seeing a year ago and 2 years ago. And I
Yeah.
travel the same highways constantly, so I'm seeing a lot of military equipment.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I know Russia, they put in a draft.
Yeah.
So would it be here that to put it in the draft and saying no one's leaving the country until we get this draft thing straight?
Yeah.
If that's going to do that, because so that could be something that could put a hold on too. Because as soon as Putin put in the draft, a lot of people leave the country. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I know exactly how the draft worked in the '60s, but it's possible
Yeah.
that they could do the same here. So if you don't have a passport, I suggest that you invest in getting one. Whoever listen and you don't have it. So I'm telling everybody, get it now while you can.
Actually, you're right. I didn't even think about that. That's true. Like with us having this war going on, they can, like you said, something they might make it where you can't get a passport unless you're like, in the draft or something like that. But they can kind of, because actually could be a way, just like you said, they can try to block us by making it like, you can't get one unless you're willing to enlist or, something crazy like that. But I agree with you. Like, it's probably best to try to get it now because I don't know if we're gonna I don't know because like over there in Europe right now, it's getting pretty bad. Like they're the pound is crashing against the dollar, the euro is crashing. I heard from there's a YouTuber named Big Truck. He was saying that yeah, yeah, I like the channel. Yeah, he was saying that they're not gonna have enough fuel for the winter, so it's just getting really bad there. So like the war is just gonna continue for a while, just like you said. Like I'm hoping we don't wind up having to go to war with like Russia or whatever, but that's definitely what they might try to do it. So I agree. Just if you can get your passport, definitely try to get it now before it's like, for them to try to make it a lot harder for you to get it or make it where you have to kind of enlist or something like that.
Right. For those, if we was to go to war with Russia or China, I don't think they would be able to touch the U.S.
Yeah.
Some of those countries we travel to might be able to get touched. And we don't know what side those countries are going to stand on, because a lot of those countries look at the United States as the great savior.
Yeah.
And they governments. So it might be that, hey, y'all can't come here until this is over. Or,
Oh, yeah. I actually didn't think about that either. Yeah. That's another thing. They could probably block you from getting into some countries like we like to, travel to. Like, because I know, like, yeah.
Yeah, because Putin, what they doing over there, I'm not trying to change this into the wars, this is channel. That we're still talking about.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
So Putin said that that they're not getting the England over there those natural resources, pipelines and stuff. So they're going to be cold over there in England. So our gas is going to go up again. And they already said if the Republicans win, it's definitely going to go up.
I agree.
So it's going to go up. So it's within the next couple of, I think the election is next week or something like that. But anyway, it's another election coming up. So that's going to deter some prices. It's going to be a lot of strain on people. So people need to, put their money up and put their food up. Because
I agree.
We don't know as far as that. But I just hope that don't happen, because I want to do more traveling. So I want other people to travel out. That could be something that put the passport thing on hold. Not to jinx it, but just throwing it out there. Just, that's the things that go through my mind as I watch the media and the news and talk to other people about things that's going on.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you, because like I remember during COVID, it was just rough, man. You couldn't travel really anywhere. Like only place you could really go was like maybe Mexico, Tijuana, or like Jamaica, something like that. But all the other big travel destinations you couldn't really get into. It really sucked during that time.
Right. I don't think they was letting people in those countries. It was letting people out from the U.S. I don't think none of these countries was taking nobody in. I think they was letting people go to their homelands. That was it. Nobody traveled like a vacation.
I definitely agree.
So if a war first hit down, we ain't talking Iraq and
Yeah,
we ain't talking desert. We talking World War III, brother.
I
Nuclear
agree.
bomb. So if Putin decided he wanted to bust a bomb at somebody, a nuke at Ukraine, it's on.
Yeah. No. I agree.
You know, so
Which is gonna be it's gonna be one of the
right.
it's
So
gonna
so they're gonna have to cooperate. It's back to the passport because
I agree. Just like you
that
said.
ain't gonna need protection, you know, because it's
No,
gonna be
I definitely agree. And just like you had mentioned, which is why what I did is I actually bought a bunch of like what I usually get like this 40 count of water bottles. I actually bought like 2 of them because just like you said, I did hear that shortages gonna start coming, stuff gonna start going through the roof. It's gonna kind of be like when COVID hit, you went to the stores and everything was out and all that kind of stuff. When those women
over toilet paper.
exactly when those women start seeing that and they said this is an imminent threat, and we're gonna have shortages, jobs are gonna be like, I did hear about unfortunately some job being cut, that kind of stuff. But when things start really getting hard, just like you said, they're gonna have to come back to the table. Like, I mean, it's gonna be almost a matter of survival for some of them, because I think right now there was like especially amongst like the black community, like a lot of black women have been getting evicted. So, and that's before this next part of the recession is about to hit. So it's gonna get really rough, so.
Right.
You're gonna start seeing more videos about, I'm ready to submit. I'm a soft girl. I made my mistakes when I was younger. We want y'all back. Like all that stuff's gonna start happening.
Yeah, but a lot of them gonna hold on to government daddy. But see, there's the thing: if the war did pop off, they can be drafted too now.
Yeah,
they can be drafted too. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that too. So they want equal rights. They can get drafted as well. They're not gonna like that.
Right, so a lot of them gonna be running out trying to get pregnant too. So
I forgot all about it. Now that's a really good point.
It'd be out there wide open for you. You could just fall in.
I can see that. Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's so true. Yeah, that's definitely true.
I mean, it's a possibility. It's the worst case scenario, but we just a step away from that happening. So it ain't like it's impossible. Maybe 2 years ago, when I was saying this, it would have been that's impossible. But it's possible.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, like I said, definitely can go in that direction. It's already kind of heading that direction now.
Right.
It's just about to get worse with this recession. Right. But all right. But yeah, I'm gonna wind up ending the stream. Got to get up for tomorrow. But yeah, I appreciate Guy here, man, for coming on the live and chopping it up with me. Definitely appreciate it. It was like I had a great conversation with you, and I want to thank the chat as well, JJ Wilson, Geechee Lion, and all the others that are because I see there's some other people watching as well that didn't necessarily join the chat or whatever. I thank you all for like joining. I know I did this at the last minute. I'm gonna try to do better next time and post ahead of time so we can get more people in here and then hopefully build like up the stream. But yeah, I just want to thank you all for like joining, and yeah, and I'm gonna catch you next time. So,
thanks.
Yeah, any last thing to say? Yeah.
Thanks for having me, man. And just keep it going, keep pushing the channel, brother.
I appreciate that.
Because I liked you. That's why I joined your channel. Yes, sir.
I appreciate the support.
All right, peace.
All right, peace out. Peace.